Hello, Vivid Earth Tribe. Welcome to another interview. Today, I'm interviewing a very special guest. Her name is Toni Carroll. She's the founder of boutique beauty and anti-aging supplements company called My Beauty Love. I wanted to interview her because I've had personal experience with her incredible supplements that are not, I wouldn't even classify them as beauty supplements. They're really anti-aging and kind of biohacking in a way. So I wanted to chat to her about some of the incredible ingredients and formulations she's using. And I'm going to introduce her now. Hello, Toni. How are you?
Hi, Nina. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, especially another South African.
Yes. Great.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, obviously I know you, I know your products, and Toni is one of those people that when she walks into a room, it's like sunshine. She just and it's really, she's a ray of light. So I've really enjoyed getting to know her, and I am sure you're going to get to know her as well, all the viewers. Toni, tell me about My Beauty Love, how it came about, how you founded it, and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I think it is actually about how I got where I am today, because every day leads you to where you are right now in the past. So I mean, I've been in this industry for about 10 years, probably longer, because the years are going by so quick. I've actually lost track.
Absolutely.
But I remember, I grew up in Joburg, and we had a beautiful big old property in Joburg. In the old days, there were these big small holdings. So I grew up with fruit trees. I grew up with a stunning big garden. I grew up with beautiful bird life in the garden. Yeah, so I grew up in nature. I grew up climbing trees, and I think that's where my love for nature and my love for the mystery and the magic of nature started from when I was a little girl. I mean, my mom always used to tell me, especially when I was older, she said, I used to forget that I even had you, because you'd be playing in the garden for hours and hours, and then, come the afternoon, and my mom would be like, gosh, where's Toni? And I'd be by myself in the garden making my little fairy world and my little fairy kingdom and everything. So I think that's where it started. And I think that's where the respect for nature and the respect for animals started when I was very, very little. And since then I was always very inquisitive, and I was always quite ahead of like my group of friends growing up in Joburg and my peers. And when I say ahead, I was always like trying to find like new things and new health things and new weird and wonderful, like recipes for things. And I used to bake at home, and I used to, all these crazy things. And my friends always used to say, Toni, you're nuts, like why are you drinking alcohol, and why are you eating mud? And so I think that curiosity started from a very young age. And back then in Johannesburg, all those years ago, there was one vegan shop in the whole of Joburg. Not that I'm a vegan, but one vegan organic shop where, there would be natural produce, and you could go and you could buy something as simple as like psyllium husks, which you can buy anywhere nowadays, But you really had to search for places back then, and the restaurants were very normal. There was no vegan, green, earth-friendly, paperless restaurants back then. So, and also there was no internet back then. So so I really had to like read books. I read so many books, very popular books. I'm sure a lot of your viewers will know, all the old books from back then. And, the cleansers and the juice cleansers and the detoxes and all these things that have passed through the last 30 years or so. So I was doing all of that back then. And then I left Johannesburg and I lived in Durban, and I was working for a friend of mine, Lisa Rayleigh. She had her gym in Durban at the time. So I was doing personal training, I was doing nutrition, I was also then doing colon cleanses and the power of massage and all of this stuff. It really has just been a progression from all of those years and all of that knowledge and being in quite a few different industries that are all under the umbrella of wellness. So professional beauty, I was working with professional beauty brands on exhibitions and magazines, etc. in Johannesburg. And I was into the fitness, and I was working in wellness centers, putting together diets and helping people with colon cleanses and all sorts of stuff. So now all of that knowledge and all of that passion has really just culminated in this product brand that I now own. And yeah, I'm very proud of it. And it's something that's a little bit different to the norm, because I've always been very different from the black sheep, the norm. So I also wanted that energy and that enthusiasm and all of my kind of ideas, philosophies to actually now be in a brand. And that's what my beauty love is. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's what I love about you. You really want to go to the ends of the earth to find that products that nobody else has, and put these incredible formulations together. And without a sense of just wanting to make money, which unfortunately I have to say most of these companies, that's their primary objective. And as a result, they put inferior products in their formulations, inferior ingredients, and end up misleading a lot of people. These are the things that you find in your best wellness stores around. And unfortunately, they're not always what they say it is. And that's what I really love about you and your products, that it's truly ethical, it's truly sustainably sourced, and you really go to the ends of the earth to find the best available ingredients and formulations.
Correct. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'd love you to tell us a bit more about some of the ingredients that you use, the unique formulations. I know that you have a strong focus on beauty, but obviously, on this channel, we have a strong focus on health. And what I found was that a lot of your formulations, it's that saying of beauty inside out, because if you are healthy, if you have a healthy body or vessel, you're gonna naturally radiate beauty and youthfulness. So that's really what I'm really interested in, because I was fascinated with some of these ingredients. Like you, I've had a very acute interest in the area of wellness and natural. Not as much as you, but it wasn't, my business. It was just a personal sort of interest and hobby. So I've really kind of studied that area over the last few years. And really, you are one of the first companies that I've found that are absolutely revolutionary in what you do. So maybe tell our viewers a little bit more about some of the ingredients that you use in the formulations, especially the plant-based ones.
Yeah, so that in itself has taken quite a few years to research and actually get right, because my whole philosophy was I didn't want to just choose an ingredient, firstly, that everyone else has, unless that ingredient, if everyone else has it, is really, really so potent and so powerful that it was a no-brainer for me. And I also didn't want to go the route of just launching a supplement brand and having compete with all the other supplement brands. There's thousands of them. They all compete for shelf space. They all use the same ingredients. They all kind of use the same formulas, just with a slightly different quantity of this ingredient or that ingredient, etc. So it was very important for me to just be completely different, and also to be completely true, in the sense that if I'm going to choose an ingredient, I know in my heart that that ingredient is the best form of that ingredient that I can get into South Africa, that I can import. It's the best for that particular formula, and it's the best for that particular problem that we're trying to solve. Also, the whole beauty angle, I thought, well, beauty sells. Everyone wants to be beautiful. And I have always believed that beauty starts inside. And I know it's like cliche, but really and truly, you can be in the presence of the most beautiful looking people on earth, and they are really so ugly inside, and you don't want to be around them. And yet then you can be around people that are very average looking, overweight, whatever, and they are the best, most amazing, beautiful people inside, and you want to be around them and you want to spend your time with them. So beauty as an idea and beauty as a concept for me is probably totally different to the mainstream and what other people speak about when they say beauty. But I know that in order for me to get my message out there and to get these products out there and for them to really change people's lives, I need to sell it as a typical beauty supplement. Once people start using them and once people buy into the philosophy of the brand, that's when they also start to become more aware. Okay, well, beauty is a little bit different here. It's not just the beauty that we all are accustomed to. So in terms of ingredients, I there's some methods that I use. I look at populations. So we like to study populations. I mean, if you think about it, I know I can say this on your platform. I'm not very pro the medical industry. I'm not very pro doctors. I like to also see evidence with my eyes, and I like to see anecdotal evidence of stuff that's being used for thousands of years, that have been used in ancient medicine throughout the world, throughout various cultures, etc. And, which populations of the world have the most beautiful skin? Which populations of the world have the lowest rate of cancer or heart disease, etc.? Which populations have the highest number of centennials? So, we start there. We started there, and then it just we went down the rabbit hole. Then I started getting into medicinal mushrooms, which I'm extremely passionate about. I've actually trained on them with one of the top mycologists in the world. She's a professor. She's a woman, which was very special as well, not just a man's world. And so in terms of the ingredients, we start with the populations, and then we move on to we just start doing research. So we have access to an amazing website, which I can't give it away to any of your viewers. It's a little bit of a secret for us, and that's where we find all the clinical trials. And it's a lady that she actually developed this website where we can gain clinical trials and data for free. So we use that, a hacking site. We use that, and we go through paper after paper after paper after paper after paper. That's what we do in our spare time, and that's what we do for fun. And from there, we look at, how do we start formulating? Right, if we are going to use very common ingredient, magnesium, for example, what form are we going to use it in? How can I get that form? And then I start to Google. Google's amazing. Right, magnesium orotate, choose the best suppliers in the world, and that's how we start. So that's how we go. I also look at, what are the most prevalent concerns for people living in this modern world? Sleep, depression, obviously beauty, inflammation, joint pain, etc. So all of those common problems that we're facing, that also is a key, is a key motivator for me to go and research ingredients. But I also prefer to look at the ancient Chinese, the Asian side of it, the Ayurvedic medicine. I don't go to the Western. That's not where we go. That's the last resort for me. So, and I mean, all of our wellness products have all started from them anyway. That's where it started. That was the root. So, so that's kind of how we, without giving away too much information, that's how we source our ingredients. I like to go with trademark ingredients if the budget allows, because trademarked ingredients are generally the highest purity, and they come with some clinical trials, as in double-blind placebo, where you can actually have that you can have that on your label, that these certain things have actually been trialed, so you can kind of make a bit of a claim on your label, which also helps with the consumer, just helps them trust your product. So we do opt for trademarked ingredients if we can get the trademarked ingredients in. Because we can't, then we have to go for the next best, which would be, all right, well, where is it farmed? Can we get an organic? What is the extraction process, example? What is the potency of the extraction? Does it need to be extracted? That's also a big thing. Can we just take the whole thing and freeze dry it and powder it, etc.? So it's very, very complicated. People, I don't think if you're just a normal consumer who goes and buys a, product off the shelf, I don't think they understand how much work actually goes into creating a product like that, and creating a product that hasn't been created in a typical white label manufacturing facility, of which there's many. And I think I can see from, when I look on the shelves and I see other products, I can see that the majority of them, that's how they create their products. They'll go to, say, the top, there's like top 5 in South Africa manufacturers. So these companies import the ingredients, like a zinc or a gluten, whatever the basic ingredient is. Then they will come up with a little, oh, you need something for joint health. Sure. Here's a little formula. If you like it, great. We'll manufacture it for you. We'll put it into capsules, put it into a bottle, give us your label, and there's your product. And I think that's 90% of how products are created in South Africa. There's very few people that are doing it the way that we do it. There's just a handful of us. Actually, we import the ingredients ourselves. We vet those companies that we are buying those ingredients from, which is very important. If we can get on a plane, we will go. We did that before COVID. We were flying all over the show, meeting these people. I wanted to see myself, how was that grown? How are you, and also connect with the person on a personal level, which is very important for me. I'm still old school. I still like to meet people. I still like to have that energy exchange. It's great. You can tell a lot about a person when you actually meet them. So that's how we started. We flew around, we met ingredient manufacturers, and that was the basis. That was how we started. And now it's just like the wheel just keeps going. So now we way more refined in how we search out. We research our ingredient suppliers. We made way more refined, and okay, now we kind of know in terms of the minerals, which are the best forms, where can we get those from. So it's actually going to get a lot easier for us. Whereas in the beginning, when I launched, it was still quite hard to, now we've read enough research papers, I think, where we're kind of, I'd say we're probably about 50% almost knowing it all. If ever we know it all, we're almost 50% that we, But the ingredients is what, honestly, that gets me up in the morning, finding new ingredients and finding new suppliers and working with them and being able to bring a product to market in South Africa, if not globally. Some of our formulas are global first, that I'm so passionate about, and I just know that they're going to help people and they're going to give people the results that they want. And that starts something, a change in the person as well. They start to see results, they feel better. Sure, if you're starting to look better on the outside, you do start to automatically feel better about yourself on the inside. That is how things are in the world we live in. So it's a bit backwards, but we still got to work. We've still got to work within the current consciousness and within the current mindset of the typical beauty consumer, the typical health supplement consumer. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm sure you're ready to take it to the next level once we shift into a higher consciousness, which is exciting because you are aware of that. So it's not a static thing. It's a very dynamic thing, even though the ingredients are as old as the earth itself. Formulations and the products themselves and what we really need evolves, over time.
Exactly.
I think, what I really like about your company as well, it's a boutique company, so everything is small batch. A lot of attention goes into sourcing and processing of the ingredients. So many other companies, products get made in massive, as you said, white label labs and production houses. And unfortunately, what happens is profit over product, and that is never a good thing. And yeah, unfortunately, I think the beauty industry has just become rife with low quality products that are not doing what they say they're doing. Unfortunately, maybe the original ingredient started out as, having certain benefits, but the way that it's been produced or farmed or whatever has just reduced efficacy. And I think that's so important. So that's what I really like about you. And you mentioned also, obviously, starting in Asia. I think, a big reason for that is, can you hear me? Because I think we're having
just that last bit, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize to the viewers for the connectivity. Your voice also kind of went a little bit, but hopefully they'll get the gist of it. I really wanted to not postpone this interview and get it done, because I think the information is so valuable to get out. So when you mentioned, starting with Asia and really focusing on a lot of the plant-based ingredients from Asia, I think to a large extent it's also because it's not that those ingredients never existed in the West, but it's that they have been suppressed enormously and have been scrubbed from our memory and from our consciousness by, certain elite families, unfortunately, that wanted to push petrochemical big pharma.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do believe a lot of those will resurface once the whole sort of medical and pharmaceutical system and global systems change. But at this stage, it's fascinating to see that a lot of those plant-based ingredients are still they still exist in the East. They're still being used centuries later. I love the idea of the cherry blossom from Japan that you use. How incredible it is. And maybe you can tell us a bit more. You said you're passionate about mushrooms. Tell us a bit more about some of the mushrooms that you use, what they can do for your health and your longevity.
So mushrooms is a big part of our business. I started investigating mushrooms about 8 years ago, and I was on a mission. To find the highest echelon in human health, the highest natural substance for human health. And that's what brought me to mushrooms. And I still, 8 years later, I still haven't found a plant or an ingredient that can compare to mushrooms when it comes to like ultimate human health and the intelligence that mushrooms have, the intelligence that fungi have. I mean, we wouldn't have life on Earth if it wasn't for fungi. I mean, I think that Netflix documentary once that Netflix documentary screened, the amount of people that messaged me and called me, people that I had been telling years, ago, listen, you must try mushrooms. Now suddenly everyone, and it's wonderful, and I'm so thankful for it, because people are starting to realize and awaken to the power of mushrooms. And back then I was trying to find some growers in South Africa, and they were only growing psilocybin mushrooms, which is still unfortunately illegal. And the species that I was doing research on.
Sorry, can I stop you there? Can you quickly explain for the viewers that don't know what that is?
Oh, psilocybin.
Yes.
So psilocybin is the magic mushrooms. So psilocybin, I mean, everybody knows magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms are psychedelic. They have psychedelic properties. They are still popular. They've been around for centuries and centuries and centuries, and used in shamanic rituals. So back then, and still today, a lot of the small growers in South Africa are growing psychedelic mushrooms, magic mushrooms. Unfortunately, they're still illegal, as I said. But I was trying to find a group of growers that would be able to grow the mushroom species that I was investigating back then. And there was none. So that was the first hurdle. The second hurdle was nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. They're like, no, there's only magic mushrooms. What do you mean other mushrooms? that was the other hurdle. And so I had to start investigating overseas. I had to start looking overseas for growers. And of course, the East was the first point of call. So we started there. And then after a long time of research, we finally found the grow that we use. We use two now, because we vetted another one, which we had our eye on for the past 2 years, and their stuff is absolutely incredible. They're in Europe. So we have two suppliers now that we use. But before COVID, me and my partner, we went overseas. We went to the first one. She's a female, and we spent about 2 weeks with her, just studying how are they grown, just studying the history, the sacredness, how they are so integrated in the Asian culture, how they've been used, what are they used for, etc. How it's so part of their everyday life in most of the Asian countries. And it was a very sacred experience for me, I must say, because I learned more about the intelligence of the mushroom and actually saw the mushroom as a living, breathing, intelligent being that enters your body and does certain things depending on the species. And that respect and that exchange of energy, that exchange of like consciousness was really so impactful. I came back, and all I wanted to do, I just wanted to tell the whole world about these amazing mushrooms and this amazing experience I had, and the amazing healing benefits that they have, which is, just so profound and in such need now, especially in our modern world, and especially with what we're facing as a species, as humans. And I really do believe mushrooms are the answer. But like you mentioned, with these supplement companies and these people that are putting together supplements en masse, they are focused on low margins, high volume, just punting out product. They're not focused on the quality. And unfortunately, mushrooms, that's what's happened with mushrooms. So the massive big growers in China, which maybe a couple of years ago, before the Western world didn't wake up to mushrooms, or reawaken mushrooms rather, they were growing them to a proper standard. But now, if you think about it, it's a crop. So you are growing a crop just like you would grow any other crop for mass market, for mass production. And mushrooms don't work that way. Mushrooms are almost like we call it, they term it, I mean, it comes from them, not from me, the mother culture, that sacred mushroom that they go hunting for in the forest. They find it, they take it back to the lab, they test it for efficacy of the particular medicinal compounds that make each species. So if I can give an example of lion's mane has become very popular. The two main compounds in lion's mane, hericium and the hericinones, they test for those compounds. And if that test proves that those compounds are extremely high, they keep that, they cryogenically freeze it, and they will splice from that one mushroom and then create more and create more. That will only happen about 500 times. After that, it dilutes and it becomes, and when you're looking at the mass companies that are now producing tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of it, that's about 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 dilutions down the road. The medicinal compounds are completely gone by the time you get to that 30,000 Anyway, that was the main thing that we learned. And then obviously how they grow them for gourmet use being mass produced as a food grade, which is all the supplements in South Africa, by the way. Honestly, I don't think, and I constantly look because I want to be proved wrong. I really do. I really want to see another mushroom product on the shelf that is as good a quality as what we bring in. And I haven't found it yet, unfortunately.
But I probably want
to, we'll get there.
I dare say that probably 90% of the world's supplements are very commercial food grade, with the diluted version, because whatever happens internationally happens. Just for those viewers that might not be here. But so I guess a big lesson is to use discernment and to inform yourself and to educate yourself on really the quality, because not all mushrooms, like anything else, are made equal. So it's very fascinating information.
Especially with mushrooms, if you go onto and you look at all the shelves, lion's mane in particular, and I go back to lion's mane because that's probably the most common one now. They make claims like, oh, it's going to take away dementia, or it's going to take away Alzheimer's, it's going to do all these marvelous things. It can only do that to a certain extent if you've got a proper grade, if you've got a mushroom that's grown in such a particular way as to heighten those compounds that have been shown to help with, the neurological disorders. And this is a very interesting fact. And your viewers can actually go out and do this. If you pick up a lion's mane product off the shelf, it will be an extract, which the top professor in the world has told us that extracts is not the way to go with mushrooms. I'll tell you now why. The second thing is that it will say an extract of the fruiting body of the lion's mane. Now, for your viewers out there, you get two different parts. You get the fruiting body, which is the so-called fruit, which is what we know as a mushroom, what you see and you pick. And underneath is the mycelium. The mycelium is almost like the root network, which will traverse the entire forest floor. That goes around the whole planet, the mycelium. That's the connection. That's the internet highway, as that documentary mentioned on Netflix. With lion's mane, the neurological potency is only found in the mycelium, not in the fruiting body. Wow. The fruiting body is responsible for digestive disorders. And every single lion's mane product in South Africa that I've seen says fruiting body extract will take away Alzheimer's. It's impossible. Yeah. It will never do that. So firstly, the people that are creating these supplements are jumping on a mushroom bandwagon because they all want to make a buck. They all want to be, and all of them say, oh, ours is the best, ours is extracted, ours is this. I don't think that they've done their homework and done their research, because if they had, they would know that that if you do an extract of a mushroom, the problem is that they are so complex and they are so intelligent. There are so many different compounds. Modern science has only been able to identify certain compounds. There are hundreds of compounds in a mushroom. If you now extract that mushroom and you put it into a situation where you are trying to now extract certain compounds or heighten the efficacy of it, you're destroying a whole bunch of other compounds, which we don't know. Those compounds, we might need those compounds together with the compounds that we know of in order for that mushroom to work completely in our body and do its magic, etc. And now you're killing 80% just so that you can get the 20% which people have heard about. And, when she explained that to us, because it's not like a plant, the mushroom is not a plant. So when she explained that to us, which was like a light bulb switch on, we were like, that makes total sense. Total sense. Why would you want to destroy all the other compounds, which we don't even know of yet, just to market a product that's now got, a higher erythronones or hericin, you don't. Anyway. Yes, so we we know our mushrooms. We know a lot about medicinal mushrooms, and we focus on lion's mane, and we focus on cordyceps. We focus on turkey tail, and we will be bringing in a reishi, a powdered form of reishi. So, yeah, I get a lot of queries, and I get a lot of people contacting me about mushrooms.
That's wonderful. People are getting more informed, which is a good sign.
Yes, they are. The only I would say drawback. It's not a drawback, because you know what? If people want the real thing, they pay for it. They don't even ask questions. Is that this grade of mushroom is like 20 times the price of a food grade of mushroom. But once people start researching mushrooms, and once they really start going down the rabbit hole that is medicinal mushrooms, they will realize that you really get what you pay for. As in all things health, wellness, beauty, you get what you pay for. And if it's cheap and it's then unfortunately that will tell you everything about that ingredient, everything. So
absolutely. It's fascinating that you say, when you say using all the parts of the mushroom, which I so agree with. And I learned something interesting from you as well. We were talking about, taking lemon and, first morning, and you were saying, well, you actually got to liquidize the entire lemon, because all of it works together. That ascorbic acid is in different forms in different parts of the lemon, which is so fascinating. It was like a light bulb moment for me. And I realized that, you've got to use the entire plant if you really want to benefit from its nutritious value.
Absolutely. I mean, a lemon is the most beautiful, perfect form of vitamin C that we can get. And vitamin C as a molecule is quite complex. And only surrounding the outside of that molecule is ascorbic acid.
Okay.
Yeah. In the middle is actually copper, which is quite interesting because copper is essential for collagen production. Can you believe it? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So you need the whole lemon. And I mean, one of the best ways to do that is you just blend it up. You separate that pulp in your ice tray. And every day you just take a little cube out and you put that in hot water. There we go.
Oh, I must still do that.
You won't ever get sick. It's marvelous.
I have been taking it every day for, I think, 7 months now. Well, I was taking just the juice, and then I heard from you, so I started liquidizing it. But I make enough for 2 days, and so I'm definitely going to use the ice block method. That's definitely brilliant. But yeah, it's been wonderful for me. I take that every morning with olive oil and a few other things like cinnamon and ginger and
stunning
organic apple cider vinegar, and it's been great for me.
Yes, it's amazing. It's so potent. I mean, Mother Nature really is marvelous. And just going back to the whole plant kingdom, and what so many people don't know is that in ancient times, when the shaman or the healer of the tribe or the village or the community, they would use these sacred plants, but they would only use them for the purpose that they needed to at that time to heal that person. It wasn't something that person took every single day, all the time, etc., etc. So, when now in these plants, they get extracted, like the ashwagandhas, the turmerics, like the typical plants that have been used for so many centuries to treat certain things, they're now being used in quite high potent forms every single day. And I personally don't think that that's the way these plants are actually meant to be used. I think they're meant to be used for a certain period of your time of your life where you're going through something, be it one day, be it a month, be it maybe a year, and then you actually need to stop using these plants. And that's how in ancient times they were used, and that's how the medicine men would use these plants and help the people. And then the people wouldn't use them anymore because they wouldn't need to use them anymore. And then if something else happened, then maybe it was another plant that they used. So I do believe that we're actually taking too many plant extracts in most of the supplements out there these days. I really think we need to back off and actually eat the plant, like eat the food. That's the best way. That's how we get our structured water. We actually shouldn't be drinking that much water. We should be getting our water in the most purest and the best way possible, which is the structured water, which is found in fruit and vegetables. I really do believe that. So, I mean, so we could do a whole nother video session just on plants and how they are being exploited and how they are being used in, to fulfill the billion-dollar supplement industry, and how that sacredness of the plant has completely been lost.
Yeah.
And now you can buy a turmeric capsule here and a ashwagandha capsule there and this and that. What people don't understand with turmeric is if you're taking too much and they now, curcumin, now they're extracting it. Yes, it might help a little bit for a certain time, your joints, whatever. But what that does to your stomach is so hectic. So it's always, there's like a payoff, because you're not using the plant in the way that it's supposed to be used in the healing sense. Ashwagandha has been used for thousands of years, but ashwagandha, if you use ashwagandha every single day, it actually, firstly, it will take away your libido, and secondly, it kind of drones you down. It actually makes you quite, what's the word? Not asleep, but yeah, it like cuts off your connection. It's almost like the same as what fluoride does.
Wow.
It actually, yes, people don't know this. I mean, this is ashwagandha is a potent ingredient. I mean, if you're taking ashwagandha every single day, you're now becoming quite like a drone, and you're going to lose your sex drive. I mean, who wants that? So, but yet, for certain, for a certain ailment, for a short period of time, brilliant. And then you must get off it, and you must respect it, and it worked for what it was supposed to. And there's many different examples, but I mean, those two are, they're so popular. Your viewers would know about those two. So yeah, I really do believe we've completely lost that ancient knowledge, which they on purpose completely obliterated from us and from the history and from all the books. That knowledge, we need to try and somehow get back to that and start respecting how these plants, because they really are powerful, but they need to be used in the right way.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's such an important point. We can get so obsessed with, oh, these kind of plants are good for us, we're going to take them every day, and it's going to change our lives, and almost like we have to unlearn everything that we've learned, and we're like kindergarten students of the plant kingdom. We've got to relearn all this ancient knowledge that has been drummed out of our systems for generations, and we've got to relearn this stuff. So it's going to be exciting doing that, but it's really interesting, because I think we are, we can really abuse the plant kingdom as well. And it's really, I fully resonate with this idea also of like seasonal nutrition. My husband, as you know, is a doctor of Chinese medicine, so the way that they are taught to eat and nourish their body is according to the season. You cannot eat the same thing every day for 12 months of the year. The body doesn't work like that. The body goes through cycles, and in spring you need certain foods that are going to prepare, it's going to detox your body, it's going to be lighter. In summer you need a different food. In winter, so for example, something like turmeric or whatever is sometimes more appropriate to take during winter. A lot of the hot property
correct
plant-based ingredients, whether it's cinnamon or garlic or ginger, you can't believe they're good for you, so you're just going to have them every day. It doesn't work like that. The body goes through so many different phases and cycles. So very valuable information. I didn't know the information about ashwagandha as well. That's so it's meant to heal. It's not meant to just be like a just to take every day. And I was going to a kinesiologist that said to me, you know what, I'm a supplement taker awayer, which I love, because you need to take as little as possible. It's actually not good for you having, taking a whole cabinet full of supplements. So he would test through kinesiology what resonates with your body. And I even realized that there was a certain form of vitamin D that I was taking at the time. They said, this doesn't agree with your body. You need vitamin D, not this one, which was fascinating to me. So that was also interesting. But, just talking about vitamin D, I think the best form of vitamin D is just getting sun every day. And that's
absolutely. And that's the other thing. I'm still trying to figure out why the powers that be have told us that, the sun is so bad. Yeah, sure, the sun is so bad if you're going to lie on the beach for 5 hours.
All part of the plan.
But I mean, the fact that you can go and ground yourself in the earth as the sun is rising, which you get the red rays, which is the most important healing rays. They've actually shown, they've proved that those rays penetrate so deep and they activate the mitochondria in your cell, which means that every cell in your body will be activated and the energy centers start to come alive. I mean, just from the rising sun rays. I mean, what does that tell you? so silly when you just hearing myself say this, like, oh yeah, that's so obvious. But we
Not
don't
for
do
most
that.
people.
Yeah. Who goes barefoot on their lawn and watches the sunrise? Who does that? Nobody does that anymore. And that's how humans were back in the day.
I was thinking about it the other day, like as you know, I kind of mistrust most of the things that we talk through the educational system or the pharmaceutical, medical, government, you name it. Any big institution, I don't really trust. But I've wondered, like, is that why we've been taught to wear shoes like we are? Maybe it's better just to walk barefoot. And I started doing that. I was a little bit OCD at some point. I was just wearing shoes because my feet's going to get dirty. And as you know, we live in the mountain now. So I just suddenly dawned on me, stop wearing shoes when you're at the house. Just, get your feet on the grass and
it's so wonderful.
Get some sunlight, do some sun gazing, and just do that as much as you can. At least the days that we have sun, and it's been invaluable for me.
It's marvelous. I mean, they've got MRI scans of a human's brain, not just one. I mean, they had many people do this. Just normal, and then an MRI scan of the person grounding themselves, and the change is like so immense. I mean, you can go look at it online. The power of that low, beautiful frequency from the earth, that when you ground it, and you're connecting that circle. And the whole point is when you ground yourself and then the sun comes up and you look at those rays, that circuit actually completes itself, which is beautiful. So, I mean, we try to do it as often as possible. My partner, he often reminds me, because I'm such a workaholic, I get up and I'm straight onto the computer, like off 4 a.m. Like tap, grounding time. I'm like, yes, go ground. And it really, it's, for anybody that is just slightly aware, you can really feel like that energy and that power and that beauty and that sacredness. Just with barefoot on the lawn, with the sun on your face. Oh, it's just so amazing. And I think, that's probably one of the reasons why, without knowing it back then, I just was always playing outside. And remember, as a kid, you always barefoot on the lawn, screaming, laughing. I mean, how amazing.
At least in the days when, oh God, there's a bit of a noise there. At least in the days when we were growing up, we were allowed to play outside in the mud and make mud cakes, run around all day barefoot. Now the kids are being pampered, and oh gosh, you can't even get dirt on your hands. That's a crisis, and we've lost that connection with nature. And I think, unfortunately, it's been brainwashed out of our minds. So I really hope we can bring this information back and really educate people on we are part of nature. We cannot disconnect ourselves from nature, because then we stop living.
Absolutely.
Then we might as well go the sort of transhuman way, but our natural, organic, biological being is a part of nature. Every bit is part of nature. So that rooting and that grounding in the earth, on the soil, and connecting with the sun, which is actually an energy portal in a way, it's so invaluable for our human existence.
And connecting with the creatures around you. I mean, we've got such wonderful bird life in our gardens, and just connect with that as well. Just bees and the insects and the birds and whatever else you have, just connect with that as well. That is so amazing. Just to sit there and feel them around you and that energy, and just maybe that can be part of a daily meditation, is to go and sit on the lawn and just sit there quietly, and you just have all of this around you. Meditating has completely transformed my life. I never thought that I could ever meditate. I mean, you told me 50 years ago, 20 years ago that I could meditate, I'd be like, I've tried, it doesn't work. Now, within a couple seconds, I can sit there and I'm in that state, but it's daily practice. As with all of this, it's just daily practice. But you've got to have that yearning. You've got to have that feeling that, you want to improve, and that you want to or become more awake. And, and that, once you do that, you share that with everyone. Your whole circle, your whole tribe becomes more uplifted and more enlightened. And the people that aren't resonating with you, they will just fall away peacefully and out of your life, and no drama. And so it's so wonderful. And that's how I try and run the business. That's how I try and run the brand. There's no nonsense, there's no BS. It's the truth. It's as honest as I can possibly make it. And that's it,
I love that.
a real true brand that somebody can actually just trust. And people, they're welcome to email me. I respond to every single person that sends me a message. Everybody is important. Everybody's question is important, because that's how it starts. Just planting those little seeds. Question that. Why is your doctor telling you to take that? You must question that. Why is your husband making you do that? No, you must question it. Why is your dietitian telling you that? No, question it. If you're not feeling better, then why are you still doing it?
Yeah.
It's crazy how we need to remember that our intuition, our gut feeling, is the universe, God, the source. That is the communication channel. It doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside out.
And not connecting with nature, not using those natural nutrition from nature, makes us disconnect with that source.
Yeah.
And it makes us not even know that our intuition exists. It disconnects us from that intuition. So
yeah,
it's so multifaceted, this whole thing.
It really is.
I think that's such valuable information. And I think, the way that you do business is also the way that we will do business in this new earth, quite frankly, with ethics, for the greater good of humanity, and not putting profit first. Obviously, we have to live, but it's about really just doing what you're passionate about, doing it well, and having the best intentions for those, for those that buy your product ultimately. So I love that.
And I hope that, and I know in some subtle way, even if the person isn't consciously aware of it, subconsciously the intention and the love that goes into the making of that product, I hope that can somehow also, without sounding like convoluted, I hope that comes across when the people are taking the products. The
Absolutely.
Into the creation of that product,
I think what you said earlier is everything is energy, right? And even if you don't meet that person in person, you can still, if you really, really get quiet and focus, you can feel what the energy of those supplements that you're taking, if it's good for you and if it resonates with you. And I think that's really important. We all need to get in touch much more with our intuition.
Definitely.
I think there's a bunch of stuff still to discuss, so we'll definitely do another one. It's been fascinating, and I really enjoyed unpacking some of these subjects. Is there anything else you want to share with people? Anything interesting coming up?
No, I just think people need to not just take all the information. This is just speaking in general. I think people need to stop taking all the information that they just get bombarded with. They need to just start asking questions and ask intelligent questions. And it's okay to ask questions. Don't feel like, I heard something that the Earth's actually flat. Oh my gosh, everyone's going to think I'm a quack. It's okay. That we need to be curious. We need to get that childlike curiosity back, because honestly, if COVID has taught us anything, it's that we can all be fooled, and the powers that be really are trying now so hard to control us and keep us in a low vibration of fear. And I think it's actually worked against them, because I think if anything, people have been questioning more now. Well, the people that were all vaccinated, they're not better. And it's not, sure, get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine, but surely it should have made them better. Anyway, silly example, or small example, but I think people really just need to not take everything that they get fed from the media, even to the product on the shelf. Just sure, it looks beautiful, packaged really pretty, but maybe just do some research before they go and invest in something that they think is going to be the be all and end all. Just a little bit of homework.
Absolutely. And more than anything, apply some critical thinking, because people have stopped using their brains.
Yeah.
They're so used to being spoon-fed and trusting whatever gets shoved in their face. You know, if it looks good and glossy, if it comes from CNN or some, big company, then it must be good, right?
Well, Kim Kardashian, it must be amazing. Just question and critical thinking. That's the term. Critical thinking.
Yeah.
Is critical for us as a species now.
No
actually.
pun intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Toni. That was a really, really informative interview and lots of information that I'm sure our viewers will find interesting. So I will connect your links in the description to the video so that people can connect with you and look at your site. And wishing you all the best for the next products and what's to come.
Yes, very exciting what's to come. Thanks, Nina. It was great.
Thank you, Toni. Till next time.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.